Today I've noticed on the last running session this model started behaving a bit strange, and it's my beloved Renault diesel rail car. I absolutely love this model. I think it's one of the best models I've got. The way it's made and the way the sound file's done is absolutely amazing. The lighting on it, the way the lighting's done, the way it's put together, it's absolutely stunning. And it's just stopped working, so I've noticed one end of the bogey drive motor system is working and the other one isn't. So I dropped back to one of my videos from 2020, just at the start of lockdown. I made this video in April 2020, and I took it apart then to just have a look inside it and put some figures and what have you inside it, which I've done there. So I use that as a reference to get it apart again. So you've got to finally pull off these fairings off at each end, pull off, and then the body lifts off. Then you have a wire interface there to disconnect from that plug there. But inside the roof, there's an ESU lock sound 4, I think, inside this area on the radiator system above the roof. There's that's where all the gubbins is for the electronics to make it work. It's just amazing, this model. I mean, if you look, I can just tilt this on its side. The detail on this is absolutely stunning. You can see where it says Renault there, and it's got all the little windows with the curtains, some not drawn back properly, and you got all the let's see if I can get a shot of that. You've got the metal luggage cases either side. It's just amazing. Got to be careful putting this back to make sure it all goes back properly, and the light prisms as well, you don't damage it on this model. But anyway, this model has got individually controlled, completely separate to one another, two identical motors that work in tandem. They're controlled obviously on the ESU chip. So these are two micro motors. Anyway, I've discovered one of them's got a dry joint. I was just praying for a dry joint, and it's a dry joint, not a motor failure. It's where the motor connection on one side is a bit dodgy. I've done a basic test on it on the connector. See if you can get a zoom in on that. There, the black wire. You can see that. Yeah, that's the problem, so I'm going to try and fix that, and I can get this back in action again, because I'm going to get another one of these rail cars. I mean, I got this one really cheap, and I snapped it up as soon as I seen it on eBay. I just snapped it up. It was a ridiculously cheap price, but I want to get some more of these. But saying that, are a really difficult company to deal with if you live outside France or outside Europe, like in the UK. It's really impossible to get hold of spares. The spare parts department is virtually non-existent. You just can't get spares for them, because, like I say, there's only small numbers of these models made, and it is only a tiny company that makes them. But yeah, the customer service on trying to get spares is pretty horrendous. But I still love the models. I think the models are absolutely brilliant. And I've ran this model for over 5 years on my layout. It's basically never been off my layout since I've had it. It does the small runs, on the small station and to the refueling depot and back. I've never had it going in and out the main station though. But hopefully I can get this working again. We've got two backup capacitors there as well, which are easy enough to... They look quite easy to replace. I mean, it comes apart so nicely. It's all screwed together well. It's all metal chassis. Everything is really heavy, that. The bogie systems all come apart. Very easy. I think there's a blown up diagram as well. Might have a look at that. Well, let's see what happens now. See if I can fix this. So, there's 2 screws to take out from the upper chassis, and that releases the bogie. Bogie drops down, but then you got to re-engage all the coupling spring system when you put it back, and then it's really tricky trying to desolder. I don't want to go any further taking it apart, so there's plastic you got to be careful of. Just desoldering the wire now, I want to resolder it. That was a mission, so I had to tip it upside down, carefully manipulate the springs back in, carefully put the chassis back on to the bogie upside down, then turn it around, and then carefully put 2 screws in, threaded screws into a threaded metal chassis. So you've got to be very careful not to over tighten these 2 screws here, and careful not to cross thread them. I've tested it and it seems to be working the motor on the basic tester that I've got. So now I'm going to just put it on the rolling road and hopefully it'll work. Right, so I'm not sure which way this part went. This part can go either way, but when you put the body on, it's not going to fit depending on which way it goes, because you've got that lip up this end with some lettering. So I've just referenced my old video from 5 years ago, and the letters go at plug and interface. So that goes there, making sure the wiring's okay. That looks good. It's such an intricately made model. So, and then that goes that way round. I've got to make sure the body is all got all these compartments, making sure these are not snagged or disrupted. So that goes like that. That then plugs, that little interface plugs in. Smooth on the side. The interface plugs in. Just got to be very careful here. That's it. And then the body should just very carefully. In fact, I'm not 100% sure. I think that should go into the actual body shell. Like that. Yeah. That's correct. So now that's slided in properly. It's all very easy to make this go pear-shaped. Yeah, so this body just places over the top of the chassis. I don't really think it engages properly. in any sort of way. It just sort of sits on top of there, and then you've got the cowlings at each end, fairings, and they just slot into position extremely carefully. Yeah, got spring-loaded buffers as well. So that just pushes in and engages and clips. It's very, very, very intricately done. It's unbelievable, really, how this is done. And then the other cowling, and you've got that locking plate there. That locks in on the front either side, so that just lines up. Oh, so tricky, and you've got to make sure you can't force anything, and that's it. It's a very, very simple, unique way of putting a body on. So that's all done now. And get that back on the track, job done. Right, so it's ready to go back on the layout, but before I put it back on the layout, what I'm going to do is do something really bizarre and strange, to tell you the truth, which I've never done before on a model train, using the backup smartphone and this little device here, which is a spectrometer. This is an industrial spectrometer, which is really, really compact design, and I use it all the time at work for scanning thousands of different surfaces. And it'll scan and give the closest 3 colour references depending on what collection you pick, because there's quite a lot of collections on this device here. So I'm going for RAL. I'm going to scan across 3 different RAL collections, and in there's probably 1,000 different colours. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to calibrate the device, take the cap off because that's the calibration part. I'm going to scan the red on this remodel, scan it, and that is just so weird because the colour it's come up with, these are the 3 closest matches. The colour on the top is the closest possible colour for what's on the train, and it comes up with Orient Red. And I was thinking, has that red got any reference to any trains? And it has. Orient Red RAL 3031. Whether that's true in real life, I don't know. Maybe it's just the name of that particular red in the actual range, but yeah, that's something a bit different. So yeah, that's it. Anyway, I'm going to get this back on the layout and have some fun. Well, so everything's working, lighting's working okay, which is good. Right. Let's give this a go. Should work anyway. Hoping it's going to work okay. Yeah, that's good. All good.